Alright, what's up everybody? This is Open Your Eyes, and I decided to make another YouTube video to kind of address some of these people who are claiming that the Venus Project is a NWO, New World Order operation. First off, I'm going to state that I'm anti-NWO, I'm pro-Venus Project. One thing that I've noticed about a lot of people that are against the Venus Project is you haven't done a lot of research on it. A few of you claim to be experts in the subject, and you claim to do a whole bunch of research on it and determine that it just simply won't work. And then, truth revealed, you've only actually watched maybe the addendum film and read through a couple of pages of information on the Venus Project website. This is a very complex, very different approach to society. It's so completely different from anything that's ever been attempted before that if you don't do the research on it and you don't look at it from all the different aspects, right at the roots as to why this is built the way that it's built, it basically designs out a lot of the flaws that are inherent with today's society. Now, a lot of people look at it, I've seen a few people pointing to Hitler's comments about how Hitler stated to Germany that there was going to be a utopia, and they would progress technology to the point that they would be free and live these wonderful utopian lives, and obviously that wasn't the case. Now, if you look back on the historical events, there were other international powers that helped Hitler get control of Germany in order to further their own agenda. That was an NWO planned setup. It was designed that way. Now, if you don't believe me, do some research on that. I'm not going to get into it because there's just way too much. But do your own research. Like I said, if you really want to know, do the research on it. My best suggestion is follow the money. Anytime that you're in question about something, follow the money. Who's making the most money off of this? You usually find out what exactly the real story is. Now, moving on to point out the differences between what Hitler did and what the Venus Project is trying to accomplish. Hitler did what he did, and he promised the supremacy of Germany. He promised wealth and prosperity and a utopian lifestyle for the Germans. He basically did what he did for money, power, and the status of his country and his countrymen. Now, the main difference between that and the Venus Project is that the Venus Project works on a global level. It doesn't try to take away from anyone in order to give to somebody else. It basically devises a system to manage all of the resources equally and accordingly for what is required by the population. Now, I've seen a lot of people trying to say that the goal of the Venus Project is population reduction. If you take a look at the way that it's set up, with the technologies that are available now, 1 acre of land, for example, if it's set up properly with the proper technology, there are hydroponic farms that they can build vertically into the air that spin around and have different compartments, and they can literally grow 100 acres worth of crop in a 1 acre space. Now, if we're able to do that with the technology that's available, there's never going to be any shortage if it's set up properly for the way that we need to consume in order to stay alive. there's not going to be any shortage, and there's not going to be the need for money in order to go and get something. If something is as readily as available as water is today, why do you need to pay for it? That's the idea behind the Venus Project. Now, I've seen a few comments relating to how they've said in the 60s that by technology replacing human labor, that it's going to free humanity and, make it a better world for everybody. And obviously that hasn't taken place. Yes, technology has been eliminating a lot of the human jobs, but the problem with the way the system is designed is when you're eliminating human jobs and you still need money and an income in order to survive, you wind up having to work for less money than what you could have been doing, for example, in the manufacturing industry. A lot of manufacturing jobs over the last 25, 30 years have been replaced by automated machines. Now, the people that were doing those manufacturing jobs were making excellent money, and they were able to support their family on one income, say in the 70s, for example. Now, today, the same people that would be working in those factories 30 years ago can't work in the factories, so it's shifted. The first shift happened from agriculture, then all these machinery came in and tractors got involved. So the people that were all employed in agriculture had to move into the industrial sector because there was just no more jobs in agriculture. They were all being eaten up by machinery. Now, the same thing has happened in the industrial sector where they're all moving into the service sector because there just isn't enough job in the industrial sector because it's all being automated. Now, in the service industry, it's always been seen as kind of the bottom of the barrel, so that's where all the low-paying jobs are, and that's why you're running into so many situations where you've got households that have to work 2 full-time jobs in order to make an income. That, coupled with the inflation, I'm sure most of you are aware that the increases in inflation and the increases in wages haven't been on par with each other for many, many years. The inflation goes up higher than your wage does. So if in the next year you're making the same kind of money and your cost of living has gone up 3%, you're farther behind because it's now more expensive to live, but you're still making the same kind of money. And that type of trend has been going on for a long time. And obviously we're just hitting a peak in this scenario because there just isn't any more high-paying jobs. They're all taken over by computers. Now, what the problem with this is this is all being geared towards the big corporations making more money. That's what it's all about. They want to cut labor costs by using machines. Machines don't need salaries. They don't need vacations. They can work 24/7. They don't need breaks. All you need is a technician that can service the machines. So if you're eliminating 100 jobs with using 10 machines, and you've only got one guy to service those, that's a big savings when you look at the long term, say 10, 15 years of producing cars or something like that. It makes a big difference when it comes to the long term. Now, the problem with that is the corporations are going to run into a situation where all of a sudden the circle stops. It's a consumption cycle, right? People need to have a job in order to make money, in order to buy more goods, so that the producers of the goods can continue to make more goods and make more money, and etc. It's a big circle. So if there's nobody able to work because there's no jobs left, nobody's making money, the system is collapsing. And that's exactly that's another topic altogether as far as the current economic state that we're in right now. Now, the basis to the Venus Project, the reason that most of you think it won't work, the main difference between those that think it won't work and those that believe it will work are based in the fundamental principles of it. The first basic thing that most people don't recognize is there is no money in this situation. So there's nobody hoarding resources. Everybody is open and free about what they have available. And if they are willing to provide what they have available, they will be provided with what is available globally in order to meet their consumption needs. It's a very simple design. You find out exactly how much resources can be available on the planet, and there's clearly an abundant source of resources if they're managed properly. And the second fundament is there's no opinions. If you have something that you would like to create, or something, say an idea that you would like to bring forth, that is put through the scientific method. All of us learn the scientific method in either 7th or 8th grade, and you basically formulate the question that you have as to, whatever it is. You can apply the scientific method to anything, and it's, to this date, the best known method at discovering actual, verifiable, factual truth. It's the best thing that we have, and the best thing that we've ever devised as far as getting to those answers. Now, the way the world's run today with politics, we don't use the scientific method. It's one opinion versus another, and we vote on it. There's no right or wrong. Whereas with the scientific method, if you research it and you're able to experiment with it in a controlled environment and get verifiable results, and they're reported in an open manner so that anybody can repeat these experiments and find the same truth, it's not open to debate. If it is proven scientifically factual, there's no opinions that can be placed on that, because it's been proven true. If you have an opinion that goes against that, what you need to do is apply your opinion to the scientific method and come up with your own proof proving why this is wrong, or why this is another scenario that is possibly relevant. If you're not able to do that, and if you're not able to report your findings in an open manner so that other people are able to do these experiments and repeat your findings, then it's simply not factual, and you can't hold any substance to it. You can't hold any fact to that type of a scenario. Now, a lot of people bring in the religious arguments. I've said it once and I've said it before, I'm not a religious person. I do believe that there's a greater power than us. I believe that it's energy. Some people like to call it God. Some people have all different kinds of names for it. I prefer to obviously stick with that which can be proven, and the simple fact of the matter is that everything in the universe is made up of energy. So I know that we don't understand exactly what that energy is, and that's fine with me, but if we're open to the concepts that are out there, that's the main importance. And if you watch, for example, the first Zeitgeist film, and even Peter Joseph has a lecture out there called Social Pathology, that basically shows why people, there's no human nature when it comes to people. Everything that we develop, we learn. A main scientific aspect of that is, there was a debate as to whether or not, for example, a Chinese baby and an English baby are able to learn their own respective languages easier, because it's just a genetic heritage. It's passed down through the generations. So what they ended up doing is they did experiments with Chinese and English babies, and they basically swapped their places. So you had a Chinese baby with a Chinese heritage growing up in an English background, and the opposite with the English baby growing up in a Chinese background. And what they found is that the children learned their respective language at the same rate. It didn't matter what their genetic heritage was, it mattered what their environment was as far as what they learned. Now, basically what that means is if you're, for example, brought up in Nazi Germany and all you see is Heil Hitler, Germany over others, you're going to be a Nazi when you grow up, because that's all you've been subjected to. That's the only point of view that you've seen. So it's a big concept, I understand that. The best thing I can say is do your own research. Don't just read a couple pages and watch a movie or two and think you know the whole answer. Anyways, this is Open Your Eyes. Thanks for watching. I'll make another video soon. Peace.